Racing isn't easy, but experiencing it is. iRacing puts you in the driver's seat with the industry's leading sim racing game. Drive on laser scan replicas of the greatest racing circuits from around the world. Go head-to-head against other drivers chosen by skill-based matchmaking to ensure competitive racing at every level. Compete across all your favorite series. In officially licensed cars, engineered to deliver the most accurate driving experience possible. Join a race or host your own with players from across the globe. Race against the computer or in a league with friends. Feel the thrill behind the wheel. Visit iRacing.com.
Good morning, good afternoon, and good evening, sim racing fans from around the world. Welcome into round 2 of the IIL, ILAKA Esports and Karting GT3 series, live from, this time, one of the most iconic circuits in the world, Spa. This is a place where history and high stakes meet. Today, it promises will kind of be broken. No shortages of drama across both the silver and gold series. First up on track today is our silver class. They will contest in that 20-minute heat race, then of course go up in their 20-minute feature with no inversion. I say no inversion because we got to remember the gold series follows on this same broadcast, same exact live stream. They got the same setup there, except after their feature race, top 10 drivers will be inverted. So that will be something to watch here, but as we cut to almost a live virtual trackside coverage here, we'll take a look at our points. I know we're only the second race into the season here, but battles already starting to heat up, not only on track, but as well as our points battles. Rodem Lev, Guy Bagster-Ridigan, as well as Liron Shooter there rounding out our top 3. It is extremely close within those top 3, just within one race or two of pretty much everything tipping on its head there. How about Tal Stern, one of the league owners here in the Israel iRacing League? He's going to round it out P4 in the points for now. Tal was very, very quick in practice here. That's going to have to be a driver that we keep an eye on here tonight from Spa. Ido Tal, Benny Sorik, Gabriel Fuchs, Fuchs. Yes, there you go. Yarden Levi, Artie Goldberg, Mini Land. There you see a little yellow mark by his name, or orange, whatever you want to call it. Mini will be starting from the pits here today with a penalty there from last race 2 weeks ago from Brands Hatch. Ofer Mazuz and Aaron Frinkle there rounding out our top 12 in the points. Real quick, we'll take a look at our gold series standings before we once again get to a live trackside coverage. So gold that's going to follow our feature race here tonight from Silver Series, but Alon Gabe, he's going to round us out up there up in front of the Gold Series drivers. But once again, take a look at the top 3 battles. Matter of fact, it's tied there between Daniel Bidazowski and Yuval Rosen there. Second and third tied up within the points. It's Grossman rounding out P4 in the points. Rodem Katz, Ayeli Yossi Gabe, Rancesoni down there, unfortunately, in 8th. Did not have the races he was looking for 2 weeks ago from Brands Hatch. Matty Rosen, Yuval Merrick, Omri Farag, Sisyan Baba, Mark Zubarev, Ignacio Glumsher draw last in that top 15. Alrighty, welcome in here once again to Spa as we take a look at the, there's our Rouge, one of our, this is kind of that is a historic corner just in of itself here, as we now, we're going to have drivers gridding up. We'll take a look at, before we take a look at the starting grid, we'll take a look at our kind of track layout here tonight. We got about 7 kilometers to work with. Also, that makes about 4 miles of track to work with. Also, make about 21 turns. Count them all here. You're going to definitely, I don't know, if you play the F1 EA Sports games, they classify this track as easy. What are they on here? I have no clue. Track length 6.9 kilometers. We're working with a temperature of 28 degrees Celsius, sitting at an altitude of 463 meters. Live here from virtual Belgium. We got the endurance layouts here tonight, 21 turns. Let's take a look at that starting grid. Rodem Lev, remember this driver swept us 2 weekends ago in that gold series out there from Brands Hatch. Got P1 in the heat race as well as the feature. He's going to put it out there on P1. Rodem, we might have to start seeing you in the gold series. Ido Tal, Tal Stern, Liron Schuster will start up in that second row. Yaron Levi, Benny Sorek, Ofer Mazus, Aaron Frankel, Gabriel Fuchs, Guy Biddy. Ooh. Bitey Biddy, that's a newer name. If you, sorry here, if you're new to Stam Studio Network, you know that I'm going to need about at least a race or two here to get some newer names down. Speaking of some newer names, Guy, remember Guy finished P2 in our feature 2 weeks ago. He's going to start down there P11, not that qualifying result that Guy was looking for. And then there's Mini Lands once again. Unfortunate that he will have to start in from the pits, but I wouldn't count out Mini because that might be the safest spot to start from this race. All right, we got a little bit of a breeze here along our little front straightaway here from Spa. Welcome in to Stam Studio Network as well as the Israel iRacing League, ILAKA Esports and Karting YouTube channel. I appreciate the sponsors and affiliates real quick who make this all possible. Got GRIIP as well as Drive and Ride Simulations. Seriously, can't be doing this out here without you, as well as Tal Stern, who's actually racing here tonight. Also, can't forget Ilyan there, who does quite a bit of work there behind the scenes for ILAKA. It's not only the drivers who makes this all a show here tonight. I'm producing, commentating, directing it. Once again, Tal and Ilyan, everybody who makes this possible there behind the scenes. Real quick, before we get to some green flag running, we are on board there. That is the live driver cam of one of the league owners himself. Remember, Tal's going to start P3 here. He's in that Mercedes red and black GT3. Car number 11, we'll have to see where Tal Stern ends up, as we're going to get just one turn away from green flag racing here tonight from Spa. All righty, Rodem Lev, we have waited another 2 weeks for it. Here we go. Ido Tal will be in that second row, as well as Tal Stern. Here we go. We are live and running from Spa. It looks like we're going to get a little bit of a... We're still weaving our tires here. We might get a bit of a warm-up lap here on the GT3 tires. It looks like. There's no way with as slow as we're running. Matter of fact, some too wide here if we do get up to speed. Here we go. Now we're up to speed. It'll be Tal Stern. He's going to try that inside line through a Rouge. We'll hop on board with Tal. It's going to get tight with too wide. Smartly backs out of it here as he's got Benny Sork as well as Yaron Levi there fighting for 5th and 6th. Apologies there. I don't know what's happened. That was a little bit later on that race restart zone. Speaking of race restart zone, it'll be Rodem Lev, Ido Tal battling for this race lead. That Ford Mustang is going to be Rodem Lev down and around that inside once again. Door quarter clear. Rodem back out to the lead. We're going to start to look single file here. Oh, until we're not. Ofer is going to make contact there with Guy Biddy. Guy is going to go around there. You see the gravel accumulating on the racetrack there. Matter of fact, rooster tailing at the end of this Ford Mustang. Next time that these leaders run through that section of the track, be sure you keep your eye on that, because gravel as well as grass, it accumulates to ice, what feels like here in the iRacing universe. Real quick, I appreciate every single one of you joining in here tonight. So we're going to have Rodem Lev. He's going to take away that race lead, or matter of fact, keep up with that race lead as he put it on the pole. What a save there for Benny Sork. He's going to go up and off of the 3D rendered rumble strips there. iRacing's got laser scan tracks, laser scans cars. Benny has to make a laser scan save there as that number 4 machine was almost down and around. Real quick, before we get a little too deep into this race, we're going to have Guy, who goes around earlier on in this race. We have a replay of it here. That's going to be the Porsche number 8. I don't think he's going to have contact. No, just tries to run a little bit more dirtier air that time by. Guy's going to go around. Fortunately for him, he makes no contact, but unfortunately for him, he's going to lose at least a spot there. He's going to keep it spinning around. backing up to the race lead here. Rodimlev I was going to say continuing to run away with it, but not quite here. Continuing to keep that gap just about steady is Ito Tao right there behind him. Remember, Rodimlev coming in with that sweep just 2 weeks ago from Brands Hatch. We're going to start to heat up this battle for the overall race lead. Don't count out Liron just yet. Take a look at that Porsche number 34 driver, and just 1.4 seconds back, of course, is Tal Stern. How about Vinny Sorek? Yarden Levi starting to go at here for that battle for the P5 spot. Up and through a ruse. This might get tight. Hop on board with Yedon here, and there you see that driver cool, calm, and collected. He's got that tinted visor. He's going to go to work down here. Little chicane action, and what will transpire back into a downhill right-hander. Benny Sorek Yedon continuing to battle this out for this 5th spot in our Silver Series first race here tonight. Ooh, take a look at the dive bomb there. Doesn't quite have it there for Yedon. He'll have to kind of regroup and rearm here as Benny Sorek tries to run away. Right now, our biggest movers of this race are all tied here between Liron, Benny, as well as Guy, as well as Minnie Lance. As we check back on with Minnie, he started this race, remember, in the pits. Safest place to start one of these Silver Series races, as he works his way already up 1 spot up to P11. Speaking of Mr. Land here, we're going to hop on board with him because this was another incident that happened. I believe this was lap 1 of the race. iRacing has a newer tire model within this GT3 series. Quite a few of the leagues that I have broadcasted for, lots of drivers having trouble with these cooler tire temps as well as cooler tire pressures there. That's why we saw, I think, on that the opening start to the race, quite a few drivers starting to weave back and forth ever so aggressively. You want to try and get these pressures as well as temperatures cooked into these Michelin racing tires earlier on in the race, as early as you can. And unfortunately, it didn't look like that happened there for Minnie Land. He will start there P12. He will get back to P11, back up to our race lead. Rodimlev continuing to hold that gap ever so steadily. Looking at that 7/10, about 8/10 of a second gap there back to Ito Tao. Going to make our way through a rouge here once again. And once again, I don't know how the F1 EA racing games, I mean, you are classifying Spa here as an easy track. I guess compared to some other ones on the schedule, it might be a little bit tough. Or excuse me, easier compared to the ones on the schedule. But I don't know, man. You got me pretty messed up calling Spa easy. As once again, this battle here for the P5 spot, it's not gone anywhere. Benny Sorek and Yedon Levi continuing to heat up and broil right now. This is the 303 Ferrari GT3 versus that McLaren. This is Yarn. We're hopped on board here with now. He tries to get ever so closer. It's going to get harder for this car to turn as he gets a little bit closer to that rear diffuser of the McLaren up there in front. We'll hop on board with Benny here. Ted, we see you down there live in the Stam Studio Network YouTube chats. Let me know if audio levels are A-OK, and we will keep things moving and grooving. We have 4 different races here tonight, Ted, so you better have your coffee ready here because we're going to have this first sort of heat race, you could call it, for the Silver Series, and then that feature race for the Silver Series. No top 10 inversion, but stick around. Same broadcast, same stream, right after the second race here in Silver Series. Gold will show us all how it's done, as well as that top 10 inversion. Once again, look at this battle steer here. As Gravel continues to rooster tail out of the back end of Benny Sorek's machine. This battle really hasn't left us since that start of the green flag. Another battle starting to heat up here just a little bit. We're going to hop on board at the virtual cam with Tal Stern, as well as, you best believe, the real-life driver cam there on the left side. Look at that triple monitor setup. Has the, what do you call the whatever they're called there, to take away where the monitors meet up, so you don't have to deal with those big black lines going down vertically down the screens. It makes this immersion ever so immersive here tonight, as well as throughout this season in IIL. We see Tal, he's focused. I don't think I've seen him blink maybe once, maybe twice as he works his way back and through a rouge here. Once again, continuing to close down on that gap to Leron there up in front. That is the final driver interview sponsor, what would be in our second series. Alrighty, battles, they're starting to get close here. Rodem Lev, he's still just about that same gap back to Edo Tal for P2, but here we see once again Tal's turn ever so slightly. It's visual at this point. Matter of fact, as I'll bring up the lap time history, it's going to look like a well, it's orange and green there, so it's a little bit of back and forth, cat and mouse. There you go, action happening here as we take a look. Yep, there's that comparison there between Liron as well as Tal. Tal was faster lap 2 and lap 3, but if we look at Tal's lap times compared to Benny there behind him, matter of fact, Tal continues to run away. Yaron Levi, he's still within striking distance. I wouldn't count him out of this battle here just yet. And remember, this driver has had quite the opening series race here 2 weeks ago at Brands Hatch, and we're continuing to see the pace here for the 303 machine. Unfortunately, he will lose one spot since the drop of the green flag, but he's trying to gain that one spot back. Checking on with Mr. Land here once again, driver of the 77. He's in that Ferrari here this weekend, this week. If you're just now joining us, unfortunately, did have to start in the pits due to a penalty given from that Brands Hatch race. But, I mean, how about it? He's already plus 2 spots gained, and as a matter of fact, he's slightly, very, very slightly closing that gap into Aaron there in the Corvette GT3 shown in P9 up there, one spot up in front of him. This might get good here, not necessarily between these two drivers within this first race, but I don't think many will have to start in the pits for our feature race in the Silver Series. So he's going to have something to prove here for us tonight from Spa as we'll work our way back up to the race lead. You see, this is another Ford Mustang, and if you're an avid viewer here on Stam Studio Network, we kind of have started to see this within this newer series of the iRacing universe here. I don't know what it is about it, but the Ford Mustang, it has some short run speed compared to every other GT3 running car. I do say short run speed though, because we once again start to see Edo Tal. He's still just even gaps here, about 7.5. Holy, what a save there for Tal Stern. Caught that out of the corner of my eye, but we're going to have to start to see if that Ford Mustang has enough long run pace to keep this run up in front of Edo Tal for the race lead. These two front runners back in where they started here tonight from a Spa. As a matter of fact, our front two runners, the front 3 and 4th runner, this battle continuing to heat up. Broil between Liron as well as Tal. Appreciate you letting me know that, Ted, down there live in YouTube land. I'll get you just a little bit of more car noise. That should do it there. Let me know if it's too much, and I'll settle it right back down. But speaking of settle it back down here, Rodem, he's going to settle the gap out to what was just about 0.7 of a second, that Ford Mustang. Remember, we were just looking at him. He will unfortunately drop down to 1.1 seconds. Gain 1.1 seconds over Edo Tal. It's unfortunate for Edo, but fortunate for Rodem as we continue to crest our way just about halfway through this race. Speaking of all audio levels, I appreciate every single one of you joining in here once again. I'm going to treat you guys and gals to the sights and sounds here tonight from Spa. Go ahead and crank it up real quick. I'll be right back with you up here in the commentator booth. me go ahead slowly crank this puppy back down before I get too excited here, because Levi versus Sorek here, this battle has given us a battle for the ages. Only just 13 and a half minutes down out of this first 20-minute heat. Now here comes Sorek, excuse me, that's going to be Levi. He's going to try the outside line down into the chicane. It'll be the offensive into the switchback defensive line there, and that's exactly how you have to make a pass happen here from Spa. That was textbook from Yadan as he'll work his way up to P5. Benny unfortunately will lose that spot, fall back to P6 where this driver started this race, but I wouldn't count him out here just yet. And real quick, speaking of not counting out anybody, this is a quick replay, a student driver for Ofer Mazuz, at least student driver paint scheme, the 422 Mercedes AMG. This is another really nice battle that was starting to ensue. Ofer's going to get tagged from that Ford Mustang. Guy Biddy will tag him and not give the spot back. I'm curious, actually, if we hop on board here with Guy. He's going to try that inside. Oh, matter of, I don't know if, okay, I'm going to keep my job up here in the booth. Call that on who you will there, but that just got, it gets so tight coming into any sort of chicane, especially that the last turns 20 and 21 here from Spa. It's just asking for a little bit of crossover action. They're not quite clear, I thought. But speaking of not quite clear, well, Tal did make that move over Liron as we were just making a quick look at the replay. We'll take a look at how Tal just made this pass. So this is going back down the hill there from Spa. There was a little bit of contact that did ensue, but if there's anybody here tonight that definitely has the racecraft as well as the speed here tonight to make a race move like that, come on, Tal, that was a nice move. Also a textbook pass for Mr. Stern. A little bit of contact here, but once again, we have seen the racecraft here from every single one of these drivers within the Israel iRacing League, ILAKA Esports, Automotive and Karting Association. It's not without a doubt that we will get some more side-by-side action. We might even look three-wide, call it here, with this battle that is starting to heat up. Mini has gained 3 spots now after starting from the pit lane. Iran as well as Guy Baxter-Radian, he will drop back to P11 where he started this race. That qualifying effort was not what he was looking for in that Porsche number 8 911, but he's trying to make the outside line work, maybe try to get just a little bit of cleaner air on the front of that Porsche. He's reeling in that Chevrolet Corvette of Aaron Frankel up out there in front. Both gray paint jobs, excuse me, one's gray, one's a little bit more green. Iran back up there in P10. It's, oh, the Sean and Tater's curse is going to strike. We'll hop on board with him there, but we pretty much saw it. It's you just try to ask a little bit too much of these GT3s, a little bit too much in the race, and look at the steering inputs here going into the chicane. Tries to get on the gas there just a little bit too quick. Luckily there for Guy, he'll miss a spinning Aaron as he'll go around. Guy up to P10, Aaron losing a spot. Ooh, this was that battle for the P5 spot. Benny just gone off the track as he was trying to once again reel in Yaron Levi there in the 303 Ferrari GT3. He goes off the track very wide. He's going to rooster tail some gravel there, just 2 turns to go. And, well, going wide is going to result in a loss of 1.4 seconds. Back into this battle for what would be the final driver interview spot next race in the Silver Series. Tal Stern, you see a little bit of flicker on that brake lights. He's just trying to get that Mercedes AMG to rotate as he tries to run away from Liron, continuing to try to run away after he made this pass. With lap times looking in the 2-minute 17-second range, we should be coming to the white flag lap this time by. Speaking of white flag, we saw these battles start to heat up earlier on in the race between Rodham as well as Ido Tal. But as Rodham's going to make his way through it, this turns 20 and 21 chicane, we will have to take a look at the right side, see if there's a white flag. I didn't see Barney waving one, but if my math is mathing, we should be coming to this white flag lap here in the Silver Series 4. Our heat race, and then of course the feature race coming up right after this, also in the Silver Series. No top 10 inversion, but there might be a top 3 a switch in spots here between Mr. Stern and later on here. Within striking distance, there's enough straightaway here from Spa as well as through Aruz here. Oh, a slight lift of the gas here as he's running right there behind our league owner. Doesn't want that rear end to kind of loop around on him, therefore Leron. That number 34, once again within striking distance of Tal Stern, that top 3 spot. This is not only great racing, but it's big within the points here. I know we're only 2 races in, but these points so close. Matter of fact, Gold Series tied 2nd and 3rd. Silver Series, it's extremely close. Matter of fact, top 5 runners within the points. Rodham continuing to run away from Ito. Tal up there, P2. We'll hop on board with Leron here as he's going to continue to reel in Tal. He's going to be right within that rear diffuser. Tal is making some World Cup-esque defense right now out of that number 11 Mercedes AMG. We're going to work our way about half the track to go here. Should be our white flag lap. Oh, Guy Biddy has just gone around. Number 12 there, Ford Mustang driver there out of Spain. We'll take a quick replay of it after the checkered flag flies here because this battle is starting to heat up, starting to boil between these two as our leader, Rodham Lev, has just about 3-4 turns to go until this should be all official for our Race 1 Silver Series tonight from Belgium. Rodham, he's going to show that he has the pace, 1.6 second gap over Ito. But I wouldn't count Mr. Ito or as well as Tal Stern. I know Tal Stern's 5-second gap, 5 seconds back right now in 4P3, but he's back up to where he started and qualified this race. Leron right there back with him where he's qualified this race as well. That gap is shrinking just a little bit for Rodham Lev and Ito Tal, but it will be Rodham Lev who's going to take heat race number 1. Congratulations to Rodham, Ito, as well as Tal, our front 3 runners. Leron not able to make that final pass. Yadon Levi is able to work his way back up to P5 in heat race number 1. Benny Sorek, Guy Biddy, Ofer Mazuz, Mini Land, Guy Begstadidian, as well as Iran Frankel, Gabriel Fuchs will be that 12th spot. Drivers have to just make their way across the start-finish line here and make it all official there. We saw Ofer, he got a little tag there, got a little help there for a spin earlier on in the race. Real quick, I know I promised you of it. Here's the real quick replay of Guy's spin. We kind of caught it late here in our live coverage, but this should be coming. This was on our white flag lap, so I don't think Guy lost any spots here with the spin. He's going to go for a play in the beach sand. He's going to say, all right, that's enough play time. I'm going to get right back on the racetrack. Going to finish P7 up 3 spots where he started this race. Remember, where you finish this race is where you start this feature race for our Silver Series. Stick around, hang around, grab yourself a drink, a snack as well, because you're not going to want to miss out on Gold Series that transpires. Comes up right after this. Welcome in here once again, Stam Studio Network, as well as the IIL, Israel iRacing League YouTube channel. This is that was a pretty wild first heat race here, and now that these drivers are a little bit more accustomed and they are more mentally prepared for what's about to happen here. This race restart is going to be pretty wild to watch, especially keep your eye on Rodham Lev as well as Ito Tal in that first row. Once again, if you're just now joining us, we're live tonight from Belgium. Got Spa here. This is the combined layout here, 6.9 kilometer circuit. Our temperature in the 27-degree Celsius range, 463 meters of altitude. There's really, I don't think there's any point to show the starting grid here, because if you're just paying attention there, if where you were finished is where you're going to start this race, and Well, I guess I'll be nice. Okay, come on, I got you. I'll start the starting grid. It's going to be Rodem Lev, Ido Tal up there in the front row. Tal, Stern, and Liron. Remember, this is right where they started. I believe the front runners, 1st through 6th, is where they finished and started. Excuse me, started heat race number 1 as well as finished. So no movement within those front runners. Except for Guy. He'll start up there in P7 out there out of Spain. How about Ofer Mazuz Mini Land? Guy begs to in. He'll start up there in that 10th starting position. Iran Frankel, Gabriel Fuchs rounding out that 12th. All right, let me know who your race pick is to win this. Is it going to be Mr. Tal or actually Ido Tal, or will it be Rodem Lev, who's going to, remember, he swept this Silver Series 2 weeks ago from Brands Hatch. Does Rodem Lev have a quadruple sweep in him? We might have to start calling Rodem Lev SVG with the pace that he has. Welcome in here once again to Spa-Francorchamps. That's as close as I'm going to get to some language there. If you're newer here within SSN, my name's Sean Stam. I'm not too good with names and pronunciations, but if you don't know me, I will definitely try my best. Alrighty, here we go. It's a little bit later rate for restarts here, because that's why you see still some drivers starting to weave and jive there into turn number 1. Here we go. Lights are flashing. We're going to it's an orange flag zone here is what it is here into the turn 1. We're making sure nobody's going to wreck. There is no incidents within that tight section of turn 1. Here we go. Up and through the gears. Green flag racing. Silver Series race number 2. It's going to be Rodem Lev, Ido Tal, Tal Stern up and through Ed Rouge. We'll look single file for the moment here. Here's some more double file. That Ford Mustang, Guy Mighty. He's going to look down that outside line when we'll be into turns 4 and 5. Here comes some more double file action here. Rodem Lev, that Ford Mustang will take the lead up into turn 1. Here's some side by side there for Tal Stern, Benny Sorek. Oh, the Ford Mustang Guy who'll run a little wide. You better run, you better hide here if you are Rodem Lev here, because Ido Tal has gone to work here earlier on in that heat race number 1. He's going to try to make some action happen here quick, but you got to be careful on these cooler tire temperatures, these cooler tire pressures here from Spa. Liron, Benny Sorek, Yaron Levi. This is the battle for 4th, 5th, and 6th here out on track. We saw it transpire. Oh no, Yaron Levi is going to go hard into that outside retaining barrier. He'll have to tow it into the pits. I was just starting to talk about how this battle would really be a fun one to watch, but unfortunate for Yaron is he'll take it back and into pit lane. Benny Sorek up to P4. Liron unfortunately loses a spot on this race restart of the feature race in the Silver Series. He'll drop back to P5. Guy will gain a spot. Mini will gain 2. Take a look real quick and see what happened to Mr. Levi as he was having a really nice heat race number 1 going for him. This should be, oh, the bump is going to get him. That diffuser makes contact with the rumble strip on the exit. That'll send him into not even the tire barrier, but that outside retaining wall, and that's just how kind of glued to the racetrack that these GT3s are. You have to get just that down and dirty onto your ride height limits here as we'll hop on board with them. Yep, that's all it took. As soon as that carbon fiber rear diffuser made contact with the racetrack, it sent him right out and around into that outside retaining barrier. He'll have to tow it into the pits as we'll get back into the battle for the race lead. Rodem Lev, he's looking for a quadruple sweep within the Silver Series. Ido Tal already, unfortunately, is going to fall back 1 second back. He's got Tal Stern and Benny Sorek, Liron Shooter up there in that top 5. Liron doing something a little bit special here. I think he's really taking care of his equipment. We have seen him, he's unfortunately lose that spot there to Benny for the P4 spot. But if we take a look at the left side of your screen here, take a look at the hands here. He's not putting too much wheel input into the car necessarily. He's being very vigilant on the downshifts. And if I take a moment to be quiet here, smooth as butter on the brake and accelerator pedals. I would count Liron here out of a top possible 4 or 3 finishing spots. Speaking of somebody who I told us to keep an eye on this race restart, of course, it's going to be one of the league owners here, Mr. Tal Stern. Oh no, his live driver cam there might be on my end, but it is frozen, but his racecraft is not frozen here tonight. Tal continuing to run away with that P3 spot over Mr. Benny Sorek, Liron, Guy, Bitty, Miniland, Guy Bextadinian, Iran Frankel, Gabriel Fuchs, Yadan Levi, Ofer Mazuz running on our 12-driver grid here tonight from the Silver Series. That's going to be Miniland, who runs extremely wide. We saw some gravel up on the racetrack there. I mentioned it earlier in heat race number 1. If you see a little bit of gravel or if you run wide, in the iRacing universe, that is equivalent to ice on the tires of these machines. There you see in Mini, he was trying to get that V6 spot away there from Guy, but he'll lose just about a second in that whole ordeal. He's in a Guy sandwich right here as he's got another guy right there behind him. That'll be Guy Bextadinian right there behind in that 8th position, up 2 spots at the drop of the green flag. Let's hop on board here with Guy as he continues to reel in Mr. Miniland. So this is that tight kind of hairpin turn number 1, and then we'll work our way through the fastest section of the track here, down and back up the hill through Rouge. This is, I think you start to definitely do work with enough speed here that the slipstream and draft does start to become prevalent here, at least within this section of Spa. But there you see it. I don't think Guy's just close enough. He's right out of that slipstream range, 0.8 seconds back. Here's another battle starting to heat up, broil ensue here in the Silver Series. Benny Sorek, matter of fact, yeah, okay, Benny Sorek, he made the pass over Yarn earlier in the race as Yarn had that incident, but right now, Benny, he's starting to have to play some World Cup-esque soccer-style defense over Liron for this 4th running spot, and just in front of these drivers is that final driver interview spot in the Silver Series. We take a look at Tal Stern's lap time differential here. There you see it, Stern versus Sorek. It's Tal, he's continuing to run away with it, but if we take a little bit of a magnifying glass approach here, take a look at the sector differentials. I think that Benny Sorek as well as Liron, if they can settle their sort of battle out there within themselves, that they sort of start to team up here, so to speak, within the GT3 class. Well, as now as Benny made that move over Liron, Tal will now possibly have that room to work with. As I was setting that up to go one way, I'll pull the 180 and I'll switch it back around because Tal is showing some really nice pace here tonight. Possibly is going to hopefully finish in this final driver interview spot, and we'll have to interview this driver after the race as well as Ido Tal, Rodom Lev, 2nd and 1st. Here's another really nice battle here between, Guy, it's going to run wide. It was a battle there between, I believe that was Mini Land. Once again, Mini will drop back, unfortunately, to P9 right now, back to where this driver started the race. Pit road action here. Okay, take a look at the top left of your screen. I'm going to do something a little special here, or at least try to. If we take a look at the incident count, okay, I thought that that's what this was about to be, is maybe an incident limit drive-through penalty here for Guy, but he's only shown it 1 incident limit, and if you're newer within the iRacing universe, well, it is a drive-through penalty as well as Mini Land, so there could possibly be some race control action happening here tonight. That's very interesting, because the only times that I have seen some race control incidents is when maybe the incident count starts to arise. But once again, if you're newer within the iRacing universe, if you have contact with another car, most of the time, more often than not, that will result in a 4X. If you have loss of control, say you have a spin of yourself, that'll result in a 2X penalty, and off-track penalties resulting in 1X. I have seen some leagues that have car incidents penalties within sort of checks. So if you gain too many, you do have sort of a penalty that you have to deal with here. But Guy and Minnie both still within pit lane. I'm talking about penalties here. I think the pit road is just so whack that I thought it was a drive-through penalty. Now these drivers are backing out off of pit road. Minnie land, there he goes, back up to P9. Guy still into the pits for P10. A little bit of a rough aerodynamic damage there for Leron. That's probably why he's lacking there, just a little bit of top end speed there in that Porsche number 34 machine. Vinny Stork, he's got that P4 spot solidified here for the moment as Leron tries to make a move. There it is. That's going to be the outside. It'll transpire back into the inside. Oh, a crossover move into the chicane there. Vinny and Leron still going at it there. Schuster not having what it takes to take away P4. Tal Stern is starting to run away with P3. Speaking of runaway or lack of it here, here's the battle for the overall race lead. That's GT3 Ford Mustang 404 Rodem Lev. Ido Tal going up against him for that battle of the race lead. He is now within slipstream distance is Ido Tal. That number 1 McLaren GT3 will hop on board with them. As take a look at just a little ever so closer here within the same camera shots. He's already gained a 10th. Apologies for that quick blink out there for Ido Tal. We're all running different servers, or excuse me, I'm running on the different iRacing server here tonight. You know, all these drivers on the other side of the world are all going at it here from the virtual, the one, the only Spa, the live here from virtual Belgium. That is our virtual battle for the race lead. I don't know how many times I could fit it in one sentence there. It's starting to heat up here between Lev and Tal. Tal's possibly saved just these GT3 newer tires here within iRacing Universe. It's kind of a newer patch that they released within the latest season here. And I believe, I have seen myself as well as some other leagues I do broadcast for. Once again, I talked about it in heat race number 1 within Silver Series. We see the pace, race in, race out of the Ford Mustangs. But it's very short run pace, and we've seen the long run speed start to show here for Ido Tal as he's going to be within striking distance here within our little short shoot, our little wavy section of a back straightaway here. It'll make our way into the uphill section here. It'll be a left-hander. Ido Tal is a shark that smells blood in the water at the moment right here. Knocking on that rear diffuser of that Ford Mustang. He's going to try the outside line to switch back into the chicane here. Battle for the race lead in Silver Series. Here we go. Rodem Lev, Ido Tal coming just 9 minutes to go left in the race. Ido Tal doesn't have the exit there. He has to compromise getting back onto the gas. He'll try the outside line once again here against Rodem Lev. He's going to try the opening and the closing of turn 1 and 2. Ido Tal, unfortunately, will retain that P2 spot as these two drivers start to heat up their battle for the race lead. How about Tal Stern? It's also a shark that smells blood in the water right now, that Mercedes AMG. Does Tal have what it takes to visit victory lane here tonight? Goodness, battles for the lead as well as 4th and 5th. Here we go once again. This will be side by side. Ido Tal, Rodem Lev. This will be Rodem who takes the inside line this time. That'll be a slowdown for Ido Tal. 4 tires off the racing surface. It happens just that quick. Here we go. A look at the replay here between these two heading into the more technical portion of the racetrack. It was side by side. Unfortunately, it'll transpire back into single file. There was a little bit of netcode, a little bit of contact there. Ido Tal, 4 tires off the racetrack. That's at least a 1.5 to 2 second time penalty there, I do believe. This will jump back on board for this battle for the race lead. It's only 0.4 of a second separating these two. Either Ido has not taken his time penalty yet, he's got it clear from race control, or he just continues to dig, looking for this race lead. Rodem Lev trying to rewrite the iRacing history books here within the Israel iRacing League, ILAKA Esports Automotive and Karting Association. Rodham Lev looking for the quadruple sweep, but he doesn't have this really done quite just yet as Ito Tao, once again, he's starting to size him back up, back within 0.2 of a second. Ito Tao is not going to look within the inside here just yet. We might try it within the chicane once again. We just saw it. These drivers got side by side. Ito Tao, he has to compromise the exit here. He's going to open it up, though. Look at the run that Ito Tao is going to get off and onto the start-finish stretch and back and through Rouge. Closes the gap ever so slightly, back down to 5/6 of a second. It's going to drop down to 7 there through the tight hairpin in turn 1. If you're looking to make a gap here right now, Rodham Lev is where you are starting to put this all together here. Sparks flying out of that rear diffuser. All of these drivers' cars are glued to the racetrack here tonight. And remember, that's huge here. We saw within Yaron Levi, if you're just now joining us, if these diffusers are a little bit too glued to the racing surface, it will send you down and around if your diffuser makes contact with one of those rumble strips. We saw it send Yaron Levi around from P5. This is the battle for the lead continuing to heat up between Lev and Tao. Lap time differential here. It was faster for Ito Tao. Lap 2, 3, 4, and 5. Then we start to see the pedal to the metal there go for Rodham Lev. But remember, that slight mistake happened there just 1 lap ago. So you have to believe that Ito Tao is the faster driver on the racetrack right now. Coming to 5 laps to go, I think the sector differential will tell the bigger story at the moment. Sector 1, faster, give it to Ito Tao. Sector 2, faster, give it to Rodham Lev. But it's just by 0.07 seconds of a second. That is a little bit shorter than 1/10 of a second separating our lead runners there for Sector 1 and 2. Tao Stern is ever so slightly continuing to close this gap, and the race leader starting to run away with it once again through Sector 3. Oh boy, Gold Series drivers, if you're watching here, right now, better hope that you get the brakes, tire temperatures, tire pressures all up to operating conditions here relatively quickly, because we have seen that take 1 or 2 drivers out of our Silver Series. Not only heat race number 1, but our feature race. It's something to definitely keep an eye on here, as well as it seems the closer that you start to get within that driver up there in front of you, dirty air is a thing within this GT3 class. That car will start to handle just a little tighter than you would expect. I know, what am I doing here? Telling gold drivers here to drive. Goodness, they will show us all out how it is done just in about 6-7 minutes time here. Same broadcast right after this race. Tao Stern continues to sit P3 where he started this race. Liran Schuster, as well as Benny Sodik, Guy Biddy, Adon Frankel, Gabriel Fuchs, as well as Minnie Land, rounding out that what would be 3rd, 4th, 5th, 6th, 7th, 8th, and 9th. Gabriel Fuchs here, still setting P8 there. Driver of the number 7. That's a car I like to see out here on track. That's Chevrolet Corvette GT3. It's a tough one to drive here. I believe mid-engine machine in the GT3 class there. You see the rear end will get a little bit loose there for Gabriel, but he's keeping it all going. Matter of fact, Gabriel, even though he's sitting P8, he started last place in this feature for our Silver Series. You got to shout that out. That's pretty special for Gabriel. He'll work his way up 4 spots. So will Aaron Frankel here tonight, also up 4 spots in a Chevrolet Corvette as well. He's going to work up to P7. Once again, it was some cat and mouse here earlier on in the race for our front runners. It took there just a little wide there for Ito Tao just a couple laps ago, and that slight time penalty. He was gaining on our race leader in that Ford Mustang, as those tires, I think, are continuing to fall off for Rodham Lev. We'll have to ask him in the Silver Series interview if he ever so chooses to stick around for it. Ito Tao, the gap has now been just about even, so he had a little bit of a shot to work with there, a little bit of a net code incident turn into what you would call contact there, and unfortunately sent Ito Tal just a little bit wide. I believe I have the replay of it here, as we'll take one more look at it, and it really doesn't take much here in these GT3s. And you got to remember, I am on the complete other side of the world here within where these drivers are racing from there. It's, yep, if we back it up here once again and slow this down, I don't think that was contact. It's net code. That means it's the internet connection between these two drivers that essentially is what just sent them around there. Yeah, there's definitely racetrack and air between those two. Speaking of racetrack and air between these two, we should be coming to the... It'll be close, but if my math is mathing, we should be coming to the white flag, at least, here tonight for Mr. Rodemlev. It's been so close here, or it was so close earlier on, that 1.2-second gap now separating Rodemlev and Ito Tal. Looks like, who do we have here? Gabriel Fuchs will make their way down and around the start-finish line. We are on our white flag lap here. I saw Barney waving that white flag loud and proud up in the top left corner. So this is going to be Rodem, who just has to make their way back around about 18, 17 turns now. It's no easy task, though, as you have yourself with 2,000 road course I rating trying to hold off Ito Tal with 1,600 road course I rating. How about Tal Stern? We can't count him out, although this is the white flag lap. Tal is working with 3,000 road course I rating there. That is a tongue twister in of itself. 2.5 seconds back over Ito Tal. This is our front runners in the Silver Series, what should be our final driver interview spots, P2, and that second final driver interview spot. And of course, Rodemlev, if he's able to make it all happen here tonight with just a couple more turns to go here tonight from Spa, we'll be able to talk with this driver and ask him how he made this all happen within this Ford Mustang. Here we go, just a couple more turns to go. This is our closest battle on track at the moment. It is between Mr. Rodemlev and Ito Tal. 1.5 seconds separating these two as we'll make our way through the final chicane here tonight for the Silver Series. I don't think that's going to be close enough for Ito Tal. Rodemlev rewriting the iRacing history books. He will come away with the quadruple sweep. 2 weeks ago, he swept Brands Hatch. He'll sweep Circuit D Spa this week here today. Holy God dang. AMR safety team, get down here ASAP. Ito Tal will go Mach 2 into the inside tire barriers there in turn 1. Tal Stern, congrats, P3. Liron Schuster, Benny Sorek, Guy Biddy, Iran Frankel, Gabriel Fuchs. Mini Land, Guy Bextadidian, Yaron Levi, Ofer Mazouz, rounding out our 12-driver grid. You might be asking, or you might be going, oh, it sounds like he's rushing. He's trying to get out of here. Well, I am. I have to make my way over to the Gold Series session, so I'll be right back with you with some live driver interviews. Hopefully those top 3 silver drivers of the feature race choose to stick around. My name's Sean Stam. Thanks for joining in IIL Stam Studio Network. I'll be right back with you. Stick around for Gold Series. Same broadcast, by the way. Do not go anywhere. Stick right back with us. Alrighty, welcome back here to Stam Studio Network and the Israel iRacing League YouTube channel, ILAKA Esports, Automotive, and Karting. Appreciate everybody that just tuned in for that Silver Series race. That was a lot of fun to watch. As, we got Rodem Lev and well, matter of fact, all top 3 finishers here and our podium finishers. Real quick, our top 3 driver interviews for Silver Series. Rodem, you got a copy.
Yep, it was a very fun race. I enjoyed myself a lot. Idotal gave me a lot of hard work on the second one. He's very fast, but it was a clean and good race, and I enjoyed myself immensely.
Gosh, that's I'm glad you bring that up there in the second race, because I was going to mention, I mean, you were so close to reeling him in there, and we saw just a tiny little bit of net code. I don't even think it was contact between you, but you ran a little bit wide. Did you have a little bit of a time penalty to give up there, or was it just an off track? Or
no, I actually didn't have any off tracks at all.
Really?
Maybe Dotal had an off track. This is Rotem.
Oh, that's right. Okay, so I had that swapped there, but okay, no, you're right. You kept it on the track there after a slight little netcode incident there. Real quick, I appreciate you taking the time to join us for a driver interview. I mean, who would you like to shout out to makes this all possible for you here tonight?
Tal and all the people in the Israeli organization, all of them. In the Motorsport Association. I don't know the name of it in English, but Tal will say it later. But they're all very, very cool. And Yuval Marek, I would actually very much like to say thank, because he's like the nicest young man. And like the only reason I'm a little bit fast is because he put a little bit time and effort into making me faster. So I would like to thank him as well. That's it.
Well, thank you so much, Rodem. Real quick before we let you go, were you down there for the when you all got together for the trophy presentation and karting?
Yep. It was a great day. It was awesome. We took pictures. Loved it. Again, the association, like I said, I can't thank them enough. But mostly Tal does the hard work.
Who, before we let you get going there, Rodem, who was fastest out there in the karting?
I can't remember. I think it was between draw last, and I think draw last was very quick, and Itzik was the fastest. I think I'm not 100% sure, but Tal will remember. I think it was Itzik and draw last, the 2 quickest.
Well, thank you so much.
But
Rodem.
again, it was rent-a-cart, so it's hard to say.
Yeah, I was gonna say.
Yeah.
Well, thank you so much, Rodem. Have a great rest of your night, and congratulations on the quadruple sweep.
Thank you very much. Have a great one.
Hey, you do the same. That being said, real quick before Gold Series starts off, we got 2 more interviews. Ido Tal as well as Tal Stern. Ido, you got yourself a copy.
Yeah, how are you?
I am great after that heat race 1 as well as feature race. Walk us through it. What was it like there behind the wheel? And man, it got a little bit tight there, coming to about 3-4 laps to go.
Yeah, first of all, Rotem didn't give me an easy job to do, and this track specifically is very hard to drive after a driver, because a lot of dirty air that affects the car, and you get a lot of understeer. Then in the middle of the race, the front is getting hitter and hitter, so it's hard race, but I enjoy it, and I enjoy the position that I got.
Well, I'm glad that you bring that up, Ido, because I tried to make that known to our viewers here. Like, it's so hard, especially, the faster corners here, but at Spa. You have that dirty air to deal with. iRacing simulating just about everything you can imagine. What does it feel like, the best you can describe, like there as you're trying to close in here for the race win, and then your car just out of nowhere continues to build tight?
Explain. You have a lot of fast corner, so the dirty air, it's like you're trying to turn and the car is continue straight, get a lot of understeer, and you try to be more and more closest to the car in front, because you want to in the straight to be as close as possible. But then you are lost a lot of time and eat in the front tires because you are in the dirty air, so it's make it so hard.
Well said there. Congratulations on your P2 finish here, Ido. Real quick, before we get to some Gold Series racing, who would you like to shout out who makes this all possible?
The same like Rotem, I want to shout out everyone who's take part of the league. I want to shout out to Tal that works very hard to make it all possible, and amazing. I enjoy it.
All right, thank you so much, and have a great rest of your week here, and until 2 weeks' time.
Thank you very much. Thank you very much. Bye-bye.
Thank you, and with that, we will get to Mr. League Owner, one of them himself, Tal Stern, before this Gold Series pops off. Tal, you got yourself a copy.
Good evening, Sean.
Tal, real quick, thank you so much for everything. Those pictures and videos looks like a blast. I almost flew on over there. No, I'm just kidding. But Tal, that was quite a race to watch here tonight. What was it like from Spa in the Silver Series?
This was very difficult. I want to tell you, Rotem and Ido, it's definitely should be in the Gold Series. They are good drivers, and it was good race.
Gosh, that it was. And real Tal, I'm sorry to cut this interview short because we have Gold Series gridding up real quick. But Tal, real quick, who would you like to shout out? Who makes this all possible for you, man?
First of all, to the drivers that came every evening and drive. Thank you, Sean. You're doing an amazing job. And ILAKA, it's Israel Automobile Karting and Association. And thank you all.
Hey, thank you, Tal. Have a great rest of your evening, and thank you for thanking me. That means a lot to me.
Thank you.
Alrighty, well, with those top 3 drivers of Silver Series down and out of the interviews, thank you all once again for joining in for that. And now we're going to bring you some Gold Series action. Yuval Merrick, Ignacio Glumsher, how about Daniel Badazowski, Alon Gabay, Eli Albag, Rancesoni up in that top 6. I'll get that grid up on your screen now. Oh, great. Okay, I actually have to. I'll be right back here on Stamps. I have to restart something. I'll stay with where you're at. Don't go anywhere.